Well, welcome everyone to the very first information session for Peace Corps Prep for Fall 2021. We're really happy that you all decided to join us today, especially because I know we're competing against absolutely beautiful weather. So our goal for today's information session is, of course, to provide you with more information about the Peace Corps Prep Certificate Program and answer any questions you might have. Our other goal is for you to meet the folks involved with the Peace Corps Prep information session. So we're going to start with a couple of introductions of folks on the University of Michigan Peace Corps team. So starting with the University of Michigan Peace Corps Prep team. So my name is Kelly Nelson. I work in the International Center full-time. I'm the Interim Assistant Director for Global Engagement and Education Abroad. And one of my roles is to oversee the University of Michigan Peace Corps initiatives. And so in this role, I work closely on the Peace Corps Prep program. You might be wondering if I myself have participated in the Peace Corps, and I have not yet done the Peace Corps. But in between undergrad and graduate school, I did do a gap year program abroad. I participated in the Fulbright U.S. Student Program English Teaching Assistantship in Germany. And now I will pass it along to Vanya to introduce herself.
Yeah, hi everyone. I had the pleasure of meeting many of you at the festival, which was great. So really excited to see some familiar names here. Like Kelly said, I am Vanya. I am a dual degree graduate student here at the university. So I'm doing my master's in science at the School for Environment Sustainability, as well as my MBA at Ross this year. I am an RPCV, which is the acronym for Returned Peace Corps Volunteer. I served in Paraguay in South America from 2014 to 2016, and you'll get to hear a little bit more about my service later, even if you don't want to. And if you want to hear even more, you can certainly set up a time, and I would love to tell you all about it.
Great, thanks, Vanya. And next, I'm going to invite Jess to introduce the U of M Peace Corps Office recruitment team.
Hi guys, my name is Jess. I am one of the strategic recruiters at the University of Michigan. Like Vanya said, if any of you want to speak with me or Christian, who is the other recruiter, about Peace Corps service or applying to Peace Corps, we will be your point of contact for that. And I am at the Ford School. I'm a Master of Public Policy student. I am an RPCV from China, and I served there from 2018 to 2020 in the education sector. So I was an English teacher. And you will also hear more about my service later. So looking forward to chatting about that. Okay, so I am gonna just briefly give you guys an overview of what Peace Corps is for those of you who are considering joining the Peace Corps, but maybe you're not too familiar with exactly what it is. It is a 2-year volunteer program abroad. So Peace Corps serves in over 60 different countries, and there are 6 different sectors that you can serve in as a Peace Corps volunteer. So these are health, education, youth development, community economic development, agriculture, or environment. It is an all expense paid service. So Peace Corps does take care of your airfare, your accommodation, your medical expenses throughout service. And then when you come home, you're also given over $7,000 as a resettlement or readjustment allowance. So Peace Corps volunteers serve everywhere from South America to Asia to Sub-Saharan Africa. And if you go on the Peace Corps website, you can find a variety of different positions in the different sectors in different countries. So I highly recommend searching the website to find something that suits your interests. And you can do quite a bit of matching with your major or projects that really speak to things that you want to do after you graduate. And so another thing worth noting, during Peace Corps service, you can develop a secondary project. So if you're an English teacher like I was, you teach English during the day, and then you can also have projects that are outside of that direct sector. and I had a youth development club. So that's just one example. And yeah, so if you guys want to learn more, you can go to the website, you can sign up for office hours. And obviously Peace Corps Prep is a great program to make you more competitive in Peace Corps. So I would highly recommend signing up for that. So that's just my spiel.
Awesome. Thanks, Jess. So Peace Corps Prep, the reason we are all here today, this is an undergraduate certificate program that you can complete at your own pace during your 4, 3, 2, or 1 year left here at the University of Michigan. And the goal is really to prepare you for applying for the Peace Corps or just general global service. So that could look like the Fulbright, similar to what Kelly did. And we're really trying to give you all the skills to be global leaders. And we do this through 4 main competencies. So this is with coursework and extracurricular activities. We really want you to build up experience in your work sector. So those 6 sectors that Jess mentioned, you would identify which one is most closely aligned to your goals, take some classes in that, do some volunteer hours in that area, demonstrate foreign language capabilities, not as scary as it sounds, and also develop your leadership and intercultural competencies. A few points that we should clarify is that this is not a minor, and this is not meant to detract from your major or minor that you have declared with the university. This is really to supplement and make you a more well-rounded candidate for whatever job you decide to pursue after graduation. And because it is a rolling basis, you can apply at any time during your 4 years, though we do really recommend you apply sooner rather than later, just to give you more time to really take advantage of the courses and the opportunities. You are responsible for kind of keeping track. We are in the process of building out our Canvas site, which if you are applying and accepted to the program, you'll be given access to that Canvas site. And we're trying to make that a little bit more robust so you can actually see your progress. But if you do apply, we'll give you all the resources that you need to really track your progress. And also, like Jess said, this is meant to make you a stronger applicant for the Peace Corps. This is not a guarantee that you will get into the Peace Corps, but it really does demonstrate to Peace Corps when you apply that you are a serious applicant, you have the skills, you have the competencies to be a really successful volunteer in whichever program you are placed in. So just want to make sure that that is clear, but we will give more information about the requirements next.
All right, thank you, Vanya. So this is an overview of the requirements of completing the Peace Corps Prep Certificate Program at the University of Michigan. And I think I might actually go ahead and navigate to our Peace Corps Prep website to kind of show you where you can find even more information about this, because this is a lot of text on the slide right now, and I think it might help to illuminate it if I go to our website. So one moment. All right, so this is the Peace Corps Prep website, which you can find actually if you go to the International Center's website, internationalcenter.umich.edu. Over here on Quick Links, you'll see Peace Corps Prep right here. And then the line that says just Peace Corps, that's where you can find information about Jess and Christian's office hours and connect with one of our recruiters. But if you click on Peace Corps Prep right here, you will land on the Peace Corps Prep homepage on the International Center's website. And I want to spend a little bit of time now talking about the program requirements. So if you click right here, you will see the program requirements that were on that slide, but in a greater detail. So Vanya already started to talk a little bit about some of the program requirements, but I'm going to just give you a little bit more context about how you would go about completing them. So the first requirement to complete the Peace Corps Prep certificate is getting experience in your chosen work sector. So as Vanya mentioned, when you elect to join the Peace Corps Prep program, you do have to choose one of the Peace Corps sectors that you're going to kind of work towards. You're going to build your certificate requirements around that sector. So you can see here under work sector experience, we have some little drop-down menus. So for example, if you decide that you would like to pursue the health sector, you can click here and you get a little bit more information about the types of courses that would potentially fulfill this requirement. Now, this isn't necessarily exhaustive. This is just meant to be a starting place so you can get a sense for the type of courses that would be likely to fulfill this requirement. I think the key thing for each one of the sectors is that the work sector courses actually have to be related to, potential Peace Corps service in that sector. And so for each one of these drop downs, actually, it links to the actual Peace Corps headquarters website, so you can learn a little bit more about the sector if you're not sure, if you're new to Peace Corps. And that can also kind of help you determine maybe what courses you've already taken or hope to take might prepare you for such an experience. So the courses, that's the first part. You have to take 3 courses that are related to your chosen work sector. And then you have to have 50+ hours of volunteer or potentially internship experience related to that sector. So then this competency gives you both in classroom and hands-on experience that really kind of bolster your background in the field. And so as part of the Peace Corps Prep certificate experience, we do offer, advising on this, like how are you going to fulfill the course requirements, or how are you going to fulfill the volunteer or internship requirements? So if you're sitting here and you're thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure like how I would find volunteer opportunities in whatever sector I'm interested in, that's really where we come in, and we can help you, navigate U of M resources and even think about opportunities in the community that could be a good resource. But our website does give some overview information about the type of volunteer placements that could be a good fit for any given sector. And you'll see we even kind of link out to different campus and also local organizations that could have good opportunities. So one of those kind of drop downs exists for every one of the sectors. And so for foreign language skills, as Vanya mentioned, it's not as scary as it sounds. So to fulfill this competency, you need to complete at least 2 foreign language courses. Now, if there are any LSA students on the line right now, your language requirement would, fulfill this Peace Corps Prep certificate requirement. Now, there are a couple of caveats. So there are recommendations for increased requirements for those who think that they would like to serve in a Spanish-speaking country in Latin America in the future, or if you think you would like to serve in a French-speaking country, in particular in West Africa, then Peace Corps does recommend that you have more advanced proficiency in either Spanish or French. But otherwise, you could take 2 foreign language courses in any language, even if it's not a Peace Corps language. And you might be wondering, well, why would I take, maybe 2 German courses if there are no Peace Corps countries in which German is the primary language spoken? And the reason for that is that with this requirement, Peace Corps just wants to know that you have had some experience learning a foreign language, and hopefully, some of that experience would translate for when you are learning a new language in the Peace Corps. So the next requirement is building skills around intercultural competence. And so at the University of Michigan, this does involve taking 3 courses. And so we have them divided up into, one is a core course and the other is elective. So I'll click here. So the core course, as you can see, involves really critical reflection on engaging with cultural differences. And so in almost all cases, the core courses that you'll see on the list that I'll click on in one moment involve maybe some engagement with the community and reflection on that. It involves reflection on social identities and entering communities, things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this just so you can see an example of what the core courses look like. So I'll just scan through it really quickly. There are, some of the courses on here, I will say, no longer exist. They may have been like recoded, but they're on here because we have some students who started the program, you know, maybe a couple of years ago or 3 years ago, and they still need those courses on the list. But you'll see there are quite a few like psychology courses. There are a lot of ALA courses, some women's studies, engineering, American culture, nursing, sociology, art and design, education. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the specifics of these courses, but you can kind of maybe see from the screen, like the type of course that counts as a quote unquote core course for Peace Corps prep. Now, if you're sitting here thinking like, oh my gosh, my schedule is really jam-packed, I don't know that I'm going to have enough time to take one of these core courses. Fear not, because we have a great option for you. At the very top here, you'll see there's a not-for-credit online course. It's called Community Engagement, Collaborating for Change. And this is a MOOC course that was created by some folks at the University of Michigan, including folks from the Ginsberg Center, the School of Social Work, and I think a couple of other offices. And they put together this pretty short online course that really focuses on the topic of entering new communities and doing so respectfully. And so, again, it's not for credit, it's a free course and you can take it anytime. I think the website says it takes 6 weeks, but I've had students complete it much faster, especially if you're actually, you know, like spending more than, you know, an hour or two per day or per week working on it. But this is a great course that you could take during University of Michigan breaks. A lot of students take it in the summer. I've had students take it in between the break, between fall and winter. So it's a wonderful course and I really, really highly recommend it, even if you've taken one of these other courses, because the content is perfect for future Peace Corps service. All right, let me get back to where I was. Oh, sorry about that. Let me go back. Okay, so that's the core course. And then the elective course. So this is a bit more open. And I won't go through every single one of these bullet points, but essentially what we're looking for here are courses that have a global or international focus, that involve like comparative cultures topics or DEI related topics. So it's pretty broad. In the past, we had a firm list of courses that could count as electives, but then we realized that there are so many courses at the University of Michigan and so many departments that could potentially fulfill this. And so now we provide, as you can see here, some guidelines to help you identify courses that would fulfill this requirement, while also maybe meeting your degree requirements. And so you'll see there's some guidelines here. The courses can be from any department so long as they have a focus on the topics that I mentioned. They should be at least 3 credits each. And then we give some examples of, you know, how you might identify them or search for them in the LSA course guide. Down here, in case anyone needs a little bit of extra guidance, we do still have this kind of static list of intercultural competence courses that we had approved before available, so you can take a look at that. The core courses that I showed you in that Google sheet a moment ago, they can also be counted. And then courses that are approved for community action and social change, if any of you are studying that or taking that minor, then there's a good chance that some of the courses that you've taken could fulfill those requirements. If we have any engineers on the line, especially those that are looking into the international minor for engineering, the College of Engineering has this comparative perspectives courses Google sheet that we link to here, a lot of good courses there. And then finally, international studies. I linked here the fall 2021 course list. The courses that are tagged with comparative culture and identity, many of those or most of those would be great for the intercultural competence elective requirements. So there's a lot of courses out there. We don't want to limit you, but this is some guidance for how to find them. And if you do have a couple of courses that you've taken before or hope to take and you want to know for sure whether or not they would count, then we have a really basic course petition form that's linked here. Just another Google form in which you give us a little bit of context about why you think it counts, and then also attach a syllabus. And then Vanya and myself will review it and then get back with you within a few days to let you know yes or no. So that is the elective intercultural competence requirement. The leadership, the fourth competency, this one is a bit more straightforward, so I won't speak as long about it. But for this one, you have to have your resume reviewed either by a career center on campus, or if you are planning to apply for the Peace Corps, then we would highly recommend having your resume reviewed by someone in our Peace Corps recruitment office. And so this year that would be Jess and Christian. We also ask that you either have an interview prep appointment with a career center or our Peace Corps office, or attend an interview prep workshop. So Peace Corps Prep usually does put on an interview prep workshop every year, and that's usually held in early March. We're planning on doing it again this year. So a lot of Peace Corps Prep students fulfill that requirement by going to that workshop. But if you're the type of person that would prefer the one-on-one appointment, then by all means, that counts as well. The last element of this leadership and professional development requirement is to have at least one significant leadership experience during your time at the University of Michigan and as you work on the certificate. So unlike the work sector requirement, this one doesn't have a set number of hours that you have to have spent on the project. And it can be fulfilled by, for example, being on the executive board of a student organization, or, you know, a wide range of things. It can even be fulfilled if you're volunteering off campus, for example. So this doesn't necessarily need to be something that you're doing sort of at the University of Michigan, but it should be something that you are doing while a Michigan student. So for any first year students on the line, we won't count opportunities that took place during high school, even if they are totally relevant. So this should be something you do while you're in college. And we give some advice here for how to find opportunities. And again, this is an area where we can advise you as well to help point you to opportunities that you might not be aware of yet. And I should say that what we're looking for here with the leadership experience is, you know, a time when you have demonstrated that you can take initiative and you can maybe see a project through from start to finish. Because that's really so important with the Peace Corps experience, that you have to be a self-starter to be a successful Peace Corps volunteer. And so that's what we are really looking for with this leadership experience section. And then lastly, we have a new element to Peace Corps Prep that we added just this summer, but thankfully it is pretty simple to fulfill. So in addition to all the other things that we mentioned, we want to make sure that any University of Michigan student who completes the Peace Corps Prep certificate actually has learned about the Peace Corps. And so to that end, we put in a pretty simple requirement here to either attend one Peace Corps event that we put on at Michigan, or have an informational interview with a returned Peace Corps volunteer, and then write a really short paragraph reflecting on that experience, so that we know that everyone who graduates from the program has some exposure to what the Peace Corps experience is all about. All right, so I talked quite a bit, but those are the requirements. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm going. All right, those are the requirements, and I'm happy to answer more questions about those at the end.
Thanks, Kelly. I hope no one is overwhelmed. Like we said, this is really not meant to detract from your major, your minor. It's meant to complement it and really enhance your experience while at the university. The feedback that we consistently get from graduates of the certificate program is that they're really grateful for the opportunity to take classes outside of their major. It's a great way to meet other students and expand kind of your understanding of the world around you. And that's what this is meant to be. It's really under your control. Like Kelly was showing, there are lists and lists of courses that count towards this. We don't want you to feel limited. We have that course petition form. If like you truly believe there's a course that is great for this, let us know about it. We just don't have the capacity to go through all of the University of Michigan schools course offerings. So we are relying on you all a little bit to really let us know what is benefiting you and preparing you for a successful international experience. And so we really want this to enhance, you know, your time at Michigan through all these opportunities. Like we said before, it does increase your competitiveness if you do choose to apply to be a Peace Corps volunteer. And then the networking opportunities. I think last year was, of course, a challenge with COVID. We were all virtual. This year, it is very much a goal of our program team, Kelly and myself, to build community amongst the Peace Corps Prep participants. So we do want to try to get you all together, get you all networking with one another, sharing resources. You can expect that your co-participants are like-minded individuals who care about being a global citizen and making a greater impact. And so we want you all to share in that journey together.
All right, so the application for Peace Corps Prep is located in mCompass, and that's the same place where you would go to maybe find education abroad programs or funding for education abroad programs. So even though Peace Corps Prep doesn't involve traveling abroad, our application can be found there. So we will be sending these slides out to everyone who attended. So you'll be able to click on links. But if you do go to mcompass.umich.edu, you can click on keyword search over here in the bottom right-hand corner and type in Peace Corps, and it should be the only thing that pops up. Or you can click on the link whenever you have the slides, but you will have access to the application at that point. The application is pretty simple. There's a question asking why you want to join. And then the rest of the application is essentially an opportunity for you to share with us how you think you might fulfill each requirement. And you're not held to anything that you put in the application. It's just purely to get you thinking and reflecting on how this might be possible for you.
Okay, so like we said before, we do have rolling admissions. You don't have to get your application in by a certain date. You don't have to apply when you're a freshman or you're a sophomore. I'm not sure if we have any seniors on the line. You can still apply too. And our goal, our commitment is really to review those applications in mCompass and give you a decision within 2 weeks. And then once you are admitted, you'll join a virtual orientation session. We already have 2 upcoming dates. So if any of you are feeling so inspired after this conversation to go apply now, you could probably make that October 1st orientation and be well on your way to starting the certificate program.
So some of these FAQs we've already covered, so I think we'll probably go through this pretty quickly, but we do often get asked, is the Peace Corps actually hard to get into? Do I really need this program? And the Peace Corps is becoming increasingly competitive. And I think that this program, being part of Peace Corps Prep, can only help you because it demonstrates that you have taken the time to prepare yourself very thoughtfully for future intercultural experience. The other thing is when you actually go to apply for the program, you can upload your exit checklist, which is a document that summarizes all your accomplishments from the Peace Corps Prep certificate program into your Peace Corps application. So the person who's reviewing your application can actually see all of the amazing things that you did to apply for the Peace Corps. So it can only help. And if you are thinking about applying for the Peace Corps, we highly recommend joining.
And like I said before, if you're a senior, you can still apply. Though we would encourage you for any, freshmen through juniors, don't wait until you're a senior to apply, because the benefits of participating from the start or towards the beginning of your undergraduate experience is that you are going to get those networking opportunities. You're going to get all the support from Kelly and myself that you could need. And so we really want you to take advantage of that for as long as you're at Michigan.
And as we've mentioned, there is no deadline for the application. This is a relatively new feature of the program because a couple of years ago, we did have a set application cycle. So we just want everyone to know now that you can apply at any point, even during the summer.
And if you apply, you get in, you start, and then for some reason you decide you can't complete it, there is no penalty. I mean, it is completely voluntary. This is something that we're trying to, support you in. So don't worry about, committing today and then in 2 years down the line, things get a little too crazy.
All right. If there are any international students on the call today, you are more than welcome to join Peace Corps Prep. It is just the actual Peace Corps volunteer program that unfortunately is not open to international students. It's a US government program and it is reserved for US citizens. However, the Peace Corps Prep program is open and you can still get a Peace Corps Prep certificate even if you are an international student. And you might wonder why would I want to do that? Well, as you could see from the requirements for the Peace Corps Prep program, it's the things that you do to complete the certificate are not only beneficial for the Peace Corps. So if you're thinking about other sort of intercultural programs in the future, or just, you know, preparing for life in an intercultural workforce, this certificate can be beneficial. So international students are welcome to join.
And then congratulations, you've completed the program, you've submitted your exit checklist. What's next? Well, we're really going to try to push you towards Jess and Christian, our campus recruiters, to help you get ready to actually apply to the Peace Corps. You know, we hope that's something that you'll feel even more inspired at the end of this program to do, or to search for other opportunities. We want to make sure that, you know, we can still give you resources, even if you decide Peace Corps isn't for you. So we have those resources available, alternatives to Peace Corps or like-minded things to do instead of the Peace Corps if that doesn't pan out. And so we'll be really excited, you know, at the end of the program to help you with that process. We did have another question come in the chat that I want to address, asking if they're already a graduate student, if they can apply to the program. So the Peace Corps Prep is for undergraduate students. So for any grad students on the call, we would encourage you to speak with our campus recruiters, because you can join the Peace Corps after your graduate degree is complete. And so that would be a great opportunity to see if that's a good fit and how that application cycle would work for you.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in here and just say that Christian and I, we put on a lot of events throughout the year. Some of these are workshops for people interested in applying to Peace Corps or learning about Peace Corps. We also have panels that we put on with other RPCVs who can talk about a lot of different topics, ranging from careers that they're in after service or challenges that they face while they're in service. And we also are available for office hours every single week, Christian and I. So there is a link to that appointment calendar on the website if you guys want to chat. And we do send out emails with different events that we're putting on throughout the semester. And we try to listen to your feedback. So if there's something that you want to learn about Peace Corps, I have students tell me all the time or ask questions about certain things, and we try to incorporate that into our events and our coffee chats. And so if you guys have any suggestions about events that you would like to see or topics you would like to hear about, we're always open to that as well. And yeah, we just love to talk about our service. So happy to share with you guys what it was like to be a Peace Corps volunteer.
Thanks, Jess. And on this slide, you can again see the photos of our Peace Corps team advisors. And so at the bottom, you can see the current office hours for Jess and Christian, our Peace Corps recruiters. And then at the top, you'll see Vanya's current advising hours for Peace Corps Prep. And I think certainly if you are looking at these hours, especially the Peace Corps Prep ones on Tuesdays and Fridays, and you're afraid that you aren't able to make it to any of those office hours, just email us and we can find another time to meet with you. I'm also available for Peace Corps Prep advising as well. So, and I just want to, I guess, with this slide also make clear that although we are all kind of part of this overall Peace Corps team at the University of Michigan, we are kind of two distinct teams or two distinct offices within the International Center. So there can be some confusion, understandably, but if you have questions about the certificate program, be sure that you are reaching out to Peace Corps Prep to connect with Vanya. If you are someone who is going to be applying for the Peace Corps in the process and you want to talk about the actual Peace Corps experience itself and the logistics of applying, then you'll want to be sure to connect with Jess and Christian. And right now, most of the advising is taking place virtually via Zoom. Although if you feel like you would really like to meet with someone in person, you could let us know and we can try to accommodate that.
Okay,
And
so
lastly,
now the fun part.
oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Go
ahead.
ahead, Kelly. Okay, this is all me. This is the part we've been waiting for, or maybe not. But so a little bit about my Peace Corps experience. We'll just give you very high level, but like I said before, if you want to hear any more about it, we love talking about our service, like Jess said. So I served in Paraguay from 2014 to 2016. I was in the health sector. So I was a community health promoter was my title. And I lived in a very small town of about 400 people. It was an agricultural community. Most people were sugarcane farmers. I was able to live independently, though I lived on like a property that was like all family, like one family lived all around me. So while I had my own home, I had that comfort of like people were nearby if I needed anything. And I mainly focused on basic hygiene skills, life skills, and then HIV/AIDS. So the photos you can see, the one on the left, that's me walking to my house, dirt roads, so very muddy, always fun time, trying not to fall. And then the one on the top, that is a group of women in my community, and I taught them how to make soap so that they could, learn or kind of have that tool in their home to decrease parasites and things of that nature. And then the bottom is actually, I went to a neighboring volunteer site. He worked at the agricultural school, and I helped him run a camp to prevent HIV and AIDS. It's called Grassroots Soccer. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar. It's a great program. It basically is a way to educate, just general sexual health, but using soccer. So the games are really fun. It's interactive. So that's me helping lead one of the games. I also served on our National Volunteer Advisory Council, which is like, I don't know, student council for volunteers. But that was a great opportunity to work with our Peace Corps staff in country and kind of bring volunteer concerns to the forefront and try to find solutions. And then I also ended up extending. I think that's important to note. So I ended up staying for 3 years. So even though it looks like 2 years, it was from the start of 2014 to the end of 2016. So it was really 3 full years. And I stayed on as a regional volunteer coordinator, which meant I supported all of our volunteers. Paraguay has over 200 volunteers in 4 different sectors. And I was really trying to help them collaborate on projects, traveling to their sites, helping them with any sort of, integration issues they may have been facing, and just be a resource in the interior of the country if they couldn't get to the capital.
Thanks, Vanya. We also have a slide for Jess to share a little bit about her experience in China.
Okay, yeah, so I was a volunteer in China. I was in the province of Chongqing. I was in a city called Yongchuan. I put in quotes, small city for Chinese standards. It was about 3 million people, so definitely not small, like Vanya said. I lived on my own. I had my own apartment, and I lived on a campus. So I was actually a university teacher, not a professor, do not have a PhD, but I did teach English to freshmen and sophomores who were mostly English majors, specifically English teaching majors. So I did learn Mandarin while I was there, but I was able to communicate with my students in English for the most part. And I did develop my own secondary project that was focused on youth development. Most of my students were females, and they struggled a lot with things like public speaking, confidence. They really didn't have any professional development skills. And so I designed sort of a weekly workshop to work with them on those topics, and just get to know my students better outside of the classroom. I would also host a lot of dinner parties. I learned how to make dumplings with my students. And it was a great way to get to know people. And if you do Peace Corps, I think one of the best ways to get to know people is to just tell them that you don't know anything, and they would be very willing to help you learn. And so I told people, I don't know how to cook and I don't know how to make Chinese food, help me. And so people would come over and we would cook together. And I would say that was the best part of my service, was just getting to interact with my students. So I have a couple of pictures here of us in the classroom. The one on the bottom is I took a class out to get hot pot. So we shared like a class lunch. And then outside of that, I did work with Peace Corps on, they had a monthly gender equality and women's empowerment newsletter. So we would kind of observe things about China and living in China, and we would talk about it in this newsletter, and we would send it out to all of the volunteers. And it has a funny acronym called GUI. So I was the copy editor, and I got to read everybody's work. And yeah, it was a wonderful experience. And I think not many people realize how diverse the positions in Peace Corps can be. You can be a teacher in a university, but you can also be a teacher in an elementary school. You can be living in a city of 3 million people or 400 people. And so there's a really wide range of experiences that you can have. And I didn't expect to be a teacher ever in my life. And I think it's a wonderful skill to learn. And I've applied it into my grad school experience as well. And learning Mandarin is also extremely valuable. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Happy to chat more in office hours.
Thank you, Vanya and Jess. I'm skipping over the next one because Christian's not here to talk about his experience himself. But if you attend any other events, I'm sure you'll have an opportunity to hear about Christian talk about his experience in the Philippines. And that brings our presentation to a close. Please be sure to have signed in if you haven't already, and we will pass along the slides to everyone who signs in. And I'm wondering if anyone has any questions that we can address now before we close. You can feel free to type it in the chat, or you can also unmute yourself. All right, well, if there are no questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but I will hang out for a few minutes if there are any lingering questions that might come up. So thank you all so much for spending time with us today. We all really hope that we'll have an opportunity to meet you at a future orientation or coffee chat or other event. Yeah, thank you again. And thank you to Jess and Vanya as well.